Welcome to Faces TV, ladies and gents. It is Star Series 11 time. I'm DDK, joined by Hoss today. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. It's my first time here, first time in the studio. Hoping it'll go all good.
Definitely. We have a pretty cool match to kick things off with. We have Copenhagen Wolves versus Titan. And we've seen a lot of Titan recently, but how do you think this one's going to go?
Well, Titan, out of the French reshuffle, you could say that they've come out the best team. So be interesting to see how they do against a team like Copenhagen Wolves. Not the best team, so see how it goes. The map is Cash, of course. I'm not too sure who that one favours.
I have a nasty prediction, right? And for any people from Denmark, they're probably going to hate me because from what I've seen with Titan recently, with their lineup on Cash, because we're going to be playing Cash, they're really good with their kind of the 1-3-1 setup, having like an AWP on either side, or even 3-1-1, like having basically AWPs to take care of a huge portion of the map. Like this is really good against picking styles, and I often see Copenhagen Wolves go for picking styles on this map rather than just a lot of set plays and stuff like that. And I feel like that's a great way to break it. Hopefully they can show us some really cool strats and also tactical play to actually defeat Titan setups on the CT side. But I feel like that's where things are going to really be very important is the CT side of Titan. If the Copenhagen Wolves can have a good T half, I think that they can have a really good shot at this match.
Yep, and with Cash as well, mid control is certainly crucial. And when you have an AWP like Kenny S on your team, then that just makes it a hell of a lot easier, it has to be said.
Yeah, definitely is. And this is also another thing, Copenhagen Wolves. They've shown previously that they don't like to do a lot of mid control. Sometimes they do delayed takes of mid, but usually it's just because they're going to go for an A split up short and A main. That's usually it. Because I usually am very critical of this like mid stuff, because a lot of teams don't do the kind of like what I think is like the standard rounds. And I come off very arrogant going for this. But it's kind of like, with Inferno, with Dust 2, all these maps, they have these kind of standard rounds, and it's all about map control. And that's like you're saying, mid is part of that. You take mid. You don't have to push through the CT spawn. You have to push up short, and you have the kind of A main hallway, and you have B storage, and then you can make the call from there. But mid is really hard to take, like you said, against a good team. So we'll have to see if Copenhagen Wolves feel up to the task against Titan.
Yep, and Wolves though, their lineup isn't to be underrated. You've got some big names in there like cajunb, ex-Dignitas, and karrigan as well, back in the day, ex-Fnatic. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. They've been around a while, been in some big teams, but now settling down with the Copenhagen Wolves. How they fare against a team like Titan, newly formed, you could say, but still existence at the helm. Yeah,
this is one of those lineups which it's really hard. I had this like podcast recently with Florian that a lot of people have seen now, and it's just we're talking about for like 3 hours about these lineups, and a lot of it was about of course Titan. It's this team. It's not the kind of LDLC team where it's like, well, okay, it's LDLC. It should be pretty easy for them to figure this out and stuff. And Titan is a team with a huge amount of talent and potential. And it's like, how is Existence actually going to work with these new dynamics in the team with these two huge AWPers? So we're starting to see that very well is the response. He's doing a fantastic job so far. So it's really exciting to watch them. We should be going live very shortly here. But do you want to make any predictions? Do you feel brave?
I'm going to say Titan to win it. And I'm going to say 16-7.
16-7. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to be a bit more friendly to the Wolves and go for a 16-10, but definitely I feel the same way. I think it's going to be, going into this on paper, it should be a fairly solid match here for Titan. So let's see if Copenhagen Wolves can upset them and what they have in the bag of tricks to actually accomplish that. And we'll be jumping into the 9th round here, and definitely, I'm very curious to see how this is going to go. There's so many, of course, it's not just curiosity for the sake of just how is this match going to go, but also just to see people like, well, I'll be blunt, it's gonna be awesome to see Kenny S do some like 5 kills with the AWP or something, because every single time we have like a day of face or whatever, we watch Titan play, and Kenny S gives you the highlight reel. He always delivers the highlights, so can't wait to see that.
Copenhagen Wolves though, they do win the 9th round, so they get choice of side, and it looks like they want to stay on this CT side. Can't really fault them for that.
Good choice, definitely.
Yeah, and so Titan, they do start on the T side. And it'll be interesting to see if they do lose the pistol round, whether they pick up the old MBK strategy when he was in Titan of getting a scout. It's become all too common now of scout second round, and it can certainly work on Cash.
Yeah, definitely. It was really interesting when the CZ was so powerful. We saw a lot of this like combination around. It kind of culminated around ESL 1. the kind of meta became, you know, the couple scouts and if you can afford it and the CZ armors, and it was really effective. But ever since people have been, you know, less inclined to buy the CZ due to the changes, we haven't seen so much of that. But we're jumping into the pistol round here, and we can see a pretty even spread across the map for Copenhagen Wolves, just trying to work out exactly what's happening so far. cajunb able to actually take a pick onto Maniac and be storage already. So Titan, they can't be playing this pick game anymore. Looks like they are going to try to move into A here.
Yep, they are moving towards this side. There are the remaining 4 members of Titan there. Kenny trying to see if he can spot someone with this angle. He's going to peek out towards the back right. Gets a tag there onto karrigan, but karrigan does take his life with him, and the Molotov will force the Wolves away from that side.
I'm just playing with this right now, but Copenhagen Wolves are going to work this out soon. The rotation should surely be coming in very shortly as they start to figure out that Titan are investing towards A. They're still holding strong at B now, just starting the rotation, but here goes Titan into the bomb site. And flashes in, grenades of all types, and we get Kenny dropping that bomb in the smoke. And Copenhagen Wolves still 5 left alive. They have every chance to try to go for this retake. We have Nico up here on the catwalk just taking him down, but Titan are fighting back right now. 3 frags unreturned from Titan as Copenhagen will struggle to get back in on top of that bomb site. Got existence on that bomb spot. It's all down to Nico, but he can do nothing in the face of existence right there, and that's a very well-saved round there from Titan after the early loss.
Yeah, the fact that Titan could get onto that A bomb site even with only 4 members left, that was pretty impressive. Got the bomb down. And then they only lost 1 man getting onto the site and then saved the other 3. So it was really great defense there coming out from Titan. Wolves couldn't really do much. I feel the rotation could have come in a little bit sooner from them. But hey, Titan, they played it well, got the frags, got the bomb, and of course got the round. And we're seeing AKs. A scout buy from KQLY on the second round. And Kenny he wants to save for that AWP, only going for a CZ this time round.
Yeah, interestingly, Kelly's actually watching Squeaky Door if they were to push that with his scout. It's a very defensive anti-eco style play, very passive here from Titan so far. Kenny with just a CZ, obviously saving that money, but look at this. Ooh. Sandbags. Nico goes huge with the double and might just be able to pick up the weapons as well, but Kenny going, and he's a bit too weak to really face there. So he's got to try to communicate with his team, work out how to play this now. And things don't look so good here for the Titans. Maniac to fall as well on his peek into the B bomb site. And now it's all on KQLY and Kenny. This looks dire for Titan.
The fact that Copenhagen Wolves, they were doing almost nothing. They just sat back, waited for the pushes to come in. And then we see again, cajunb picking up the frag onto Kenny and now it's KQLY. He only has a scout, so it's not going to be that effective against the Galils and AKs that Copenhagen Wolves did have. And there we go, 1-1. Great anti-eco there from Copenhagen Wolves. Played passively, got the picks, got the guns, and the round to go with it. Now Titan, their economy is in a really dodgy place.
Yeah, it was so weird, wasn't it? It just seemed very simple. I mean, it started off with a quick double from Nico, just hiding at sandbags as you do, yeah. and Titan just fell apart after losing a couple players there, and we'll have to see how this goes right now. They're going to make a move on towards B. We do have cajunb here in the vent room. We do have some good pre-nades going in to delay the rush, but definitely looks like Titan feel fairly committed towards this, and Copenhagen Wolves, I mean, put to a defensive very shortly.
Yeah, cajunb though, he is ready and waiting for this. You can almost feel it coming through that smoke. As the smoke fades, does go into cover. Doesn't want to face just yet, rather wait for the push to come in, much like they did last round. And here we go, he hears the flash go from his teammate, tried to flash him in. Does go for a peek, doesn't see anything. And hey, he'll just fall back to the site. Play safe.
Here they come straight on in, and it's now down to Pimp to try to defend here, just stuck on the site, has his back against the wall here. He's got to get some frags on the board for his teammates to slow this bomb plant situation here for Titan. They are getting a couple kills, but they're not getting that bomb onto the site, so it looks like, can they do it? They do. Only losing 2 players, and that bomb will not go down, and Titan, I mean, they didn't really invest much into that round, so as of course, being an eco and all that, so not a huge loss, but looks like we are going to go for a bit of a delay, so hopefully we'll realize what that is very shortly, and we'll update you guys, but other than that, it looks pretty decent for Copenhagen Wolves at the moment, but it's very early days.
Yeah, you do see Kenny because he did only have that CZ in the buy round, he is sitting on almost 5k, so he's got some money behind him. He can go for that AWP when the buy round does come in. But until then, it's going to be hard work for Titan. They are 2-1 down. They lost the anti-eco round, and now, I don't know, my prediction may have gone all pear shape already.
Well, it is very early days. It's a CD-sided map, and we have this situation where Copenhagen Wolves are going to start bringing out their first proper buys, and we'll get to have a peek into their setups and how they really like to optimally for them play cash. There's so many teams play it so many different ways, so it's always very curious to see actually how the other team's T side actually is able to deconstruct it, whether they've got the strats to do it. Because we saw actually with Titan against Epsilon recently, just the style that Epsilon was playing, Titan completely smashed them. And then when it came to Titan versus LDLC, LDLC were able to put the right strategies in, the right set plays to really abuse the kind of weaknesses and exploit them of the setup of Titan. So it's all about these mixes and matches of how you deal with these teams. So we'll have to see what exactly Titan's going to bring to the table once they get their money together. But only 4 rounds in, it does look like a good start so far for Copenhagen Wolves.
Yep, definitely. You can't really take anything away from them. They lost the pistol round, maybe a bit sloppy on the defense there, but coming back to win 2 rounds, their eco round, it was just play safe.
Yeah,
nothing more than that.
There is one thing you can criticize Titan for, though, and that is, of course, this situation whereby you have like everyone kind of going alone, and that's never what you want on the anti-eco. It kind of seems a little bit weird to try to, because it seems like a bit of a, they weren't taking positions together. They weren't trying to go for map control together. Instead, it was a situation where we'll just go alone. Oh, one of us died. Oh, another guy died, and it's just, it just one-on-ones. That always feels terrible as a team when you let yourself die in that way.
Yeah, it was Kenny S who pushed into Garage. He got a frag, but he only had a CZ in him, so he got tagged down to, I believe it was about 20 HP, so he couldn't really do much the rest of the round. And then you had one member push mid, got picked off. He said it was all clear. Someone else pushed, got picked off as well.
Yeah, it just fell apart, but they're going to have plenty of time to go for the recovery. And I've not yet had an update as to what is the reason for the delay, so we'll have to... okay, so it's reconnecting, so we won't have to go to a break or anything like that, which is good. We can get the game back underway very shortly, hopefully, and maybe it's just a crash or something like that. Maybe not a... I'm just shaking. I'm like, was it a DDoS?
Don't need to panic yet. No panic.
Goddamn DDoSing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's lots of ways that Copenhagen Wolves can go forward with the money situation that they have. I mean, the thing is that have they been watching Titans play basically recently? Because we have so many matches these days, and especially we have this new tournament system with Face It as well, where also, I mean, of course this isn't Face It, but
SLTV.
But we're seeing so much cash generally, so teams should be looking at other teams and being like, okay, cash is the thing right now. Everyone's playing it. It seems like almost the new Inferno from some perspectives, like the kind of safe map that people are picking that seems relatively balanced, and so they should have a good idea of exactly how Titan play, especially because why wouldn't you be watching Titans games? I mean, they've been pretty awesome to watch lately.
Especially considering the map pool for what was ESL 1, teams would obviously practice cash more than they most likely would overpass and cobble, just so that they were practiced on those maps and that they could veto out overpass and cobble. So teams, they know how to play it, and it's been in ESEA as well for a while now. They know how to play this map, and it's just whether they can perform versus other teams. And Wolves, they've got demo material to look at.
Yeah, definitely. It's there's a lot to do with it, and as we still have this pause, and we're still waiting for the player to reconnect. So that I just want to talk about that standard round a little bit, and we'll just take one more minute. So I just get a minute to explain this very quickly. So from watching all the cash that I have and talking to the top players that I have and so on and so forth, the way that it kind of works with the default setup is, like I said before, you can do a 5-man push, or rather a 4-man push into mid to take it. And once you've taken it, of course, that's actually very difficult, because if you have the CT side saying, okay, well, we don't want to give you mid for free, it's not quite so simple. But there's lots of counter nades, for example, just a very basic situation. The CTs will always have a slightly better timing, so they will toss in the smoke so that it lands on the main door on the T side of mid. And what you can do as the Ts is you can actually throw a smoke from behind the red, the T red, and that actually bounces into the mid. And you can, of course, you've seen it hundreds of times. You always see this, the wall of smokes, and that allows you to actually push out safely, even though it's not smoked. If you pop flash close in case they rushed it, so then you're slowly building your way into mid, and you can get your way all the way up to white box. And then you have this decision and this problem. And we see a lot of teams lose out in this situation, because if you end up pushing up short, what you've done by taking mid is push the guys on mid back around to this kind of A area. So then short becomes this spot where they kind of are they're all looking at short basically in this little choke point. So you kind of don't want to go up short, but you've got mid, so you can now A split or B split without them knowing, and then being far away from the rotation. So that's like the mistake sometimes we see. But the A split is really cool when you see it.
Yeah, I do like the A split coming in from 2 angles. If you do get that mid control, it does open up the entire map. Something I do like to see from CTs every now and then is a little boost up into vents and push through it. Can usually catch some teams out by surprise. So Titan, if they do that, Wolves, if they do that in this first half, they could see themselves getting a few more picks and maybe even follow that up with a few rounds.
That's another thing I love about this map as well, is that you're talking about the vents position. Is just that's so cool. Some teams put a lot of emphasis on it because you can always switch it up as well. If you do this is like why the 1-3-1 kind of works. Is because if you are aggressive on mid with those 3 players, you can get that guy into the vents really quickly from mid. So you can actually help the guy out if there is a rush onto B. So there's like loads of different options. That's why that's one of the reasons why Cash is so cool. There's just so many ways to play it. But looks like we do have everybody on this server again, so we should be going back into the game very soon. I mean, I'm dying to know how this actually turns out, and I'm sure you guys are as well. But yeah, we're actually seeing an AWP on cajunb there.
Yep. Titan having to eco, so the early AWP buy, I don't know. If the AWP does get dropped this early on and does get picked, then in the hands of KQLY, that could lose them this, what should be an easy anti-eco.
Yeah, certainly. It's actually quite interesting when we look at the whole issue now. We've got the CZs where they're much harder to buy and so on and so forth, so we see a lot less of them. How do you feel this has actually impacted the game? Because before, loads of 1 in 3 ecos are being won.
It was just a standard, oh, we're on an eco, let's buy the CZ. But now, I think P250, as we've seen, Titan, they've done it in their eco rounds, they just pick up the P250s instead. It's how it was before, it's what they've gone back to, but now with the CZ, it's chosen over the Tech 9. We saw KQLY pick it up just as like almost a primary weapon there in their buy round, just so you could save some money. So we're going to see it more in, say, buy rounds rather than actual eco rounds, I feel.
Certainly. So it looks like we lost the player on the server again, so I don't know what's going on. So, okay, the money's being fixed by the admins, so once that's all sorted out, we can get underway. Yeah. All right.
Actually, existence we're waiting for as well, so maybe may have to take a step back from his in-game lead and just try and reconnect here. So it could damage Titan a little bit here. Existence having to focus on something else rather than the actual game in hand.
Yeah, and it's actually there's the last round as well. If we look at their ecos and the situation, because we don't have a lot to talk about right now, so I'm gonna have to go with what was actually happened. So the last round we saw from them, of course, they were flung into this eco situation where they had just lost kind of their anti-ecos, if you will. So they were on Glocks and stuff. So because they didn't really buy up and invest too much in pistols or anything like that, they just were going for the bomb plant. And this is like a very fundamental difference between ecoing. Of course, if you have no weapons at all, you're going to want to try to swarm and get a plant down because you don't have much killing power. But if you can just rush that plant down, boom, you get $800 for everybody, and that's fantastic. But if we do see the P250s, maybe some CZs and stuff like that, the picking style becomes actually kind of strong, where you just kind of spread out a little bit, and you see with the individual skill that you have on hand, who can actually find a pick somehow. And then it's more about getting economic damage and less about getting the bomb down, unless you get an opportunity opening up for that. So those are two very different dynamics between the kind of standard eco rounds as we're putting the time here. And
on Cash, I think it's a lot harder to try and just rush in and get the bomb down. With the B, you're going into someone who's most likely got a height advantage on you as well, can see your feet before you see them. With A, it's a lot easier for CTs to hold angles on the site. So you tend to go for that more pick strategy and see if you can just maybe get a pick in mid, get a pick on the B site in towards checkers, and just see if the map can open up and do some economical damage, as you said.
Yeah, it's definitely quite interesting to see how all these teams actually try to go for this. I mean, that was pretty oh, there's a smoke there. Let's wait for the smoke to go and then run in. That was the plan there. I mean, it's not. I guess there wasn't too much more that they could actually do there. But either way, existence actually just on the server now. So hopefully we'll be going in. Actually, maybe we can jump in game actually, and we can look at the overview and look at the recheck the money situation for you guys. You can see what's going on here as they are actually fixing the money and. Existence not with much money, so it hasn't been fixed for him yet. So looks like they're still going for it, but yeah. Either way, this is the situation right now. Of course, you can see the money for Copenhagen Wolves looking pretty good, and it's going to be quite scary if they're actually in a position whereby they get clean rounds.
Yeah, we do see KQLY. He does have 3.6. He's just bought a P250 for himself. And we're seeing a P250 there on Apex as well, maybe Existence. Yeah, We're going to get the 5th on Maniac? No, we're not. But the double AWP setup from the Copenhagen Wolves against an eco round, this could be dangerous.
So mid and B is the choice for those AWPs. We've got cajunb here, just barely not able to react in time to that pixel angle. And we have, of course, Nico looking at the boost. So we can see here, you know, the kind of the 3-1-3 almost. We don't have anyone pushed into the vents just yet, but Titan, what are they working on here? Looks like mid is coming up.
Yeah, it looks almost as if they're toying with the idea of a boost to try and see if they can spot an AWPer. In fact, here we go. We're going to see Apex boost up. Going to try and go for a few shots. He knows someone's there, but they just don't want to peek. Nico's now spotted him go across. He's got a lot of men to contend with here. It's just about who he decides to pick first.
Let's see if Nico is going to be able to do it. He doesn't feel like going for the risk, which is perfectly justifiable. And just like that, very, very cautious take of mid from Titan, but it worked. They have pushed the AWPer back. Bomb is actually dropped towards A main, or the back of A main rather. So a lot of options here for Titan to go back, but with all the map control they've got, maybe they're thinking about going for this committed play here on 8. They're going to be charging in here, actually picking up the frags. And it looks like KQLY to get a couple kills, and or KD and KQLY to get 2 kills together. And now we're going to have the bomb planted by Titan. Massive result here. We've got AWP on cajunb, and then 4 on Pimp. And here they go. Pimp taking the frag there and making his way in. KQLY to deny.
That incendiary is going to force KQLY away from the site, though, and there we go. Great play there from Pimp. The incendiary came in, did exactly what he wanted to do. He knew KQLY could only go one way or the other, and if he went one way, he'd take damage. And Pimp, with the great reactions, gets the pick, gets the defuse, but that was way too close for the Copenhagen Wolves. The double AWP setup, I almost think it came to hurt them a little bit there, and we're seeing an auto sniper now on karrigan.
Big buys indeed. They were building up quite a bank, and we're seeing, you know, the Scar and the AWP. So expensive setups, and if it works, it's good. But let's see how this goes, because they're playing against a Titan here, who looks like we have that nade bug again. We can't see exactly all the nades of Titan, but they're going to be moving their way into mid here. Great little pick there from KQLY onto Nico, removing the AWP from play. There is a player in the sandbags, so KQLY looking at the angle. You're going to be able to spot it in time. In fact, Glaive is going to win that one-on-one. Glaive in a great position here. Needs to get himself flashed out, perhaps, as they know exactly where he is. Existence trained on that sandbags angle, looking for the shot.
Maniac pushed towards this B side, does get a pick. And now back to mid. They're going to trade 1-for-1 in this mid area. Pimp trying to get the frag there onto Existence, but not finding it. And Existence can now push up a little bit. Going to go towards vents, it seems. That auto sniper from karrigan not doing much there at all.
And here comes KQLY moving in from A main towards that CT spawn area. Going to pick off karrigan, looking for the second shot, gets it onto Pimp, and that's a cute little double there. Almost looking like a bit of a crazy round there from Titan. They had players all over the shop, and the bomb was just dropped like somewhere like very far back indeed. So Titan now bringing it back, and Copenhagen Wolves in a lot of trouble after those 2 very expensive buys.
Yep, the AWP and auto sniper setup that came in 2 rounds in a row didn't exactly work out for them, and now they pay the cost of an eco round here against an AWP on KQLY. Although Existence is going to drop, as is Apex, from the P250 of Pimp, so he now gets an AK for his troubles. Now 4 versus 3, KQLY is going to get tagged down, but not forced away just yet.
Yeah, very good stuff there from the P250 of Pimp. And he's going to go down to that grenade from Maniac, who's been consistently working B storage. We're going to get a push here from karrigan with just nothing but a USP to take down KQLY, and all of a sudden, Titan, people they can't seem to hold on to their weapons against these pistols. Did Valve change the pistols overnight? I do not know, but KQLY is going to go down to the last man of Titan, and that was relatively clean considering the fact that Copenhagen Wolves were just playing with pistols there. Madness at the beginning of today.
Yeah, I wonder if Copenhagen Wolves should just go for pistols in these gun rounds, because it seems to be working out for them. They've already won 2 eco rounds thus far, and 4-2 is the score. And now Titan forcing the buy almost here with Galils, AKs, and armor, but only a P250 here on Apex.
Glaive actually very close there towards mid. very push up. He can hear any stepping, good information position, but we do have some players from Titan moving through B storage into that vent room. You can see Apex with Maniac there. This is a big problem here for Copenhagen Wolves. Apex going to find himself that AWP on the ground there, and Pimp smoking himself off a little bit, trying to find some safety at the back of the site. Not going to happen. Apex going to take the frag, and things do look very precarious right now for Copenhagen Wolves as they try to muster a retake towards this B site. And KQLY in a great position, but just no health to use it with.
Yep, karrigan, he does have the height advantage I was talking about earlier, but whether he can actually do anything with this or not, we'll see. Existence, looking behind them, see if they can just, see if anyone rotates. There we go, karrigan does get dropped by Maniac, so the bomb site has opened up. KQLY plants right in the back corner, and now the defense is on, and Copenhagen Wolves, they want nothing to do with this. They've got an AWP, an M4, and of course the armor and defuse kit on Nico, so they want to save these guns, but I'm going to take a guess that Titan will want to go hunting for them here.
Yeah, they have, the hounds have been set loose and they're charging forward to try to sniff them out, and they're going to have a very good idea very soon, but they're covering the map pretty effectively here, although Existence isn't going towards T-spawn, but we'll have to see if they're able to hold on to these weapons. Got Nico there. You might see someone very soon. And also KQLY trying to lock down Squeaky there, but he's got no health at all, and KQLY going to get taken out right at the end there.
But the silver lining there is they did keep the AWP, but how good is that going to be when the rest of his team do have pistols in hand up against these AKs and KQLY? This AWP, we'll see whether he can use this one effectively. We saw Apex end up with it at the end of last round as he didn't have a gun. But KQLY, the AWP master, looks like he's trying to get a quick pick on B, but Copenhagen Wolves, they're not that silly. Or are they? Maybe a little. As Nico does pick up the frag down onto Maniac, and KQLY gets the return frag. And now he's looking to see if he can get another here on this B site. And it's going to be cajunb to get dropped, whereas KQLY picks up a frag elsewhere.
Yeah, really good stuff there, actually. Working for those trades very efficiently, our Titan. And Copenhagen Wolves taking the bait, and just Pimp left by himself with a P250, and that's going to be very difficult for him to accomplish all that much in this round. But sounds as if someone's TeamSpeak server went down, so we might have a very short pause after this, but nothing serious, so that's okay. And you know, this is a crazy game at the moment. Neither team can seem to hold on to their weapons, hold on to an economy.
And there you go. You said they can't hold on to their weapons. Existence loses his, and now Pimp has an AK in his hand. But I don't think he'll go for the retake. KQLY does pick him off. So it was great play there from KQLY, picking up 3 frags in total, with the 2 towards the B site, which opened it up. Now, going to see a pause, but Copenhagen Wolves, they have some economy here, but will they force the buy or not? They do have cajunb and KQLY on around 3,000, but Nico and karrigan making up for that on 7 and 6k respectively.
Definitely, and I've got to say I'm pretty happy that the problems that we're getting have nothing to do with the ulting at the moment. Like, that's kind of a breath of fresh air. Either way, you know, right now we can see definitely Titan is starting to build that economy, but the same can be said for Copenhagen Wolves. Both teams are in a somewhat of a fragile state. Obviously, you know, we're going to see a buy from Copenhagen Wolves, so that's going to put them a little further behind Titan after they actually end up buying, because they have to buy this round. Although, you know, cajunb is actually going to need a drop, to be honest.
Yeah, I expect cajunb to maybe drop to FAMAS here from karrigan, and then Nico picking up the AWP for his team. And KQLY, though, in the same situation almost, but again, FAMAS will probably suit him down to the ground.
Yeah, certainly. They absolutely must buy. And this round from Titan, this next round, as they start to build the momentum, is going to look quite interesting. So far, they've just been playing, you know, relatively default. We haven't seen anything too crazy from them just yet. And Titan have so much power when it comes to the picking game, with players like everybody on that team. You know, it's you can't really separate them too much. But I do really like last round how we saw the trade kills come in. We had the double peak from KQLY and I think it was Maniac over at B storage, which allowed an immediate trade as Nico went for the peak shot onto Maniac, and that's always super nice if you can trade very early on between the Ts and the CTs for the T side. Very nice trade early on.
Yep, and there we go. We see the drop coming in. cajunb gets dropped in M4 with KQLY having to settle for a FAMAS here. Nico, the AWP. And he's going to try and go mid, maybe pick someone here. In the past, we've seen KQLY go towards the B site to get a pick. And he's not doing it this time. In fact, he's going to get boosted up, it looks like.
See KQLY's position there, looking towards A main. And toxic barrel position, and great couple bullets rattled off into Maniac there by cajunb to take him down. And you know, they must realize at this point that Maniac is the flush roll, the get right of B storage. He's always, you know, tasked by just going there alone. That seems to be all that has been set to him. So that can give them an insight, even if it's a small piece of the puzzle. It is a piece, as they again understanding of what Titan are actually up to at the moment. And in they go onto the A bomb site with a nice entry from Apex onto Glaive. And karrigan, can he save the day right now? He's got a good position to do it. Here you go, the grenades. Gets himself a double. Wonderful work there from cajunb and karrigan as they just pump the Titans lineup full of lead. And that's going to be an easy cleanup.
Yeah, it really was. It was a round that they really did need as well. Otherwise, they would have gone behind for, I believe, only the second time this game. Now Titan on almost a force buy here. Of course, we can't really see how many grenades each person has, but I'm not expecting too many on the Titan side. And if they lose this, then they will have to eco the next one. KQLY going for the pick, but that is all smoked out. Dodges the flash, goes for a reface, misses the shot. Very un-KQLY-like. And now Copenhagen Wolves going to have to give up this mid control a little bit here.
And we do have as an Apex pushed quite far up. Yeah, indeed it is Apex pushed very, very far up. So will we see them make a play up short, or are they just going to take them mid so they can set up for a B split? They got lots of options here. We do see KQLY going for the shots here on that boost of the white box. Not getting lucky just yet. Existence rather going down towards A main. So really Titan, they did have that A split in mind, but it's kind of falling apart here. They've got to try to figure something else out right now as karrigan locks down the connector towards mid there, defeating KQLY. And this is not looking good for Titan. What are they going to do here?
Yeah, 3 versus 5. It looks like the bomb's over towards this A site here. Maniac still has this mid area to himself. KQLY, he's almost just as bait over the B site to try and get a rotation in, but Nico gets the frag onto KQLY, and the bomb drops. And there we go, they have the bomb. They just need to try and chase down Apex. They know he's towards this B site now. And he's just going to try and pick up frags. He did get a kill there, however.
Yeah, Nico had an AWP as well, and they didn't actually pick it up. So that's actually kind of nice. They have to rebuy, if they want him to have an AWP, they have to rebuy an AWP or drop him. That's actually pretty nice. Yeah,
I think they salvaged KQLY's AWP at the end of that round, so they kind of cancelled each other out, and Nico, he has that AWP. It looks like they're going to go for 3 men in mid here to try and catch Titan off by surprise.
We've got Pimp leading the charge into the vent room, and this is what we were talking about before. You can get that guy, that three-player setup, and now it's a super fast response to the B play we're going to see coming in from Titan. So P250s all around, but this should be well handled by Copenhagen Wolves, but it's all going to come down to the execution from Titan. So let's see what they are able to accomplish here. Firstly, it's cajunb that gets taken out by KQLY. Pimp now in a huge role, has to break out of this vent room to try to get those frags. Gets a double.
Wow. Great play there from Pimp, and a third for himself. So now it's just KQLY and Maniac left. KQLY does have an M4. Maniac on 4 HP. They know exactly where he is. And the fact that Titan got the bomb down, though, that's good for them. They've got some money in the bank. But Wolves, they survived with 3 members, the AWP. They got the defuse. The round 7-4 now is the score. And we're going to be seeing a buy round, I suspect, from Titan. KQLY can drop Kenny and AWP and still get himself, but Kenny's just going to buy himself. He has the money. Pick up a few nades in there as well.
Yeah, really sick 4-kill there from Pimp. Looked too easy, and that's the power of that 3-man setup, that aggressive setup. You get such fast response times to these aggressions, and Copenhagen Wolves are going to be going for something similar here. They got Glaive up close, Nico with the first pick onto Apex as Titan vie for mid control, but it's not going to happen, and instead, Titan have to try to work their way back to get more map control around the rest of the map and see what they can make happen here. Maybe a pick onto A. We'll have to see if they're able to get that.
Yeah, we also see karrigan with the auto sniper this round. I'm not too sure where he is, but we didn't see it used to full effect last time, so maybe you can pick up a few frags with it this time and halt Titan's advances. But Maniac towards this side does spot someone there jumping across from checkers, not able to get the tag on, however. And KQLY does pick up the shot there onto Glaive, so this A site could open up for Titan.
Great shot indeed. Can he get another one? Gets the second on Nico over by the pickup truck. And KQLY just spotting over by the vents, trying to block that, slow those rotations down. You know, just have an implied threat towards that B site. Keep that rotation at arm's length. And we do have Titan making their way slowly in to this A bomb site off the back of those picks from Kenny S. And now it's all down to Pimp and cajunb. And this is going to be pretty difficult. Let's see what they're able to accomplish here. We have cajunb making his way and gets the first kill onto Kenny S. He does have reinforcements coming up short, so they can make an effort together here. 2-on-2 against Existence and Maniac. Maniac going to make that a 2-on-1, and there it is. Titan secure the round, and it was almost a retake for Copenhagen Wolves, but not quite enough. But still, they're doing well so far.
Yep, karrigan though, yet again, the auto sniper didn't really do much for him. He did tag Maniac up, but oh, hey, one shot, it's not going to kill if it's to the body. If he had an AWP though, then that would have been a kill and things might have been a little different. And here we go, Glaive now with an AWP. They're switching snipers around left, right and center. And karrigan only has a FAMAS because he did lose that big expensive gun last round.
Okay, just rocking Squeaky there, defending against any pushes. We've got Kenny S moving his way around, looking for picks, looking for angles, looking for timings. I'm not going to find anything just yet, though, as they are going to now send him towards a main. And this is definitely a spot he can get a pick. Oh, just a pixel there. That shot, I think, from Glaive. Yeah, it was from Glaive. Not connecting. And this could mean trouble for him soon, though. Are they going to be able to contest these angles that Copenhagen Wolves are holding on A? Because right now it does look like that's exactly what Titan wants to get. And look at this, they can see his they could see his gun through the wall. He gets tagged down to 10 health, and that's going to be a pretty huge tell right now that Titan want this site badly. Copenhagen Wolves are going to be setting up for this now.
And the smokes and flashes are coming in from Titan. Rotation still a little bit slow from Wolves, however. karrigan stopping Kenny S getting in the sights. That's the AWP down for Titan. KQLY still in Squeaky on those 10 HP. Glaive picking up a frag there. KQLY, 10 HP is all he needs to do to drop the AWPer. Apex getting a frag, and he's going to get the plant down here as well. Barbecued KQLY is on the menu tonight, and Nico getting the last frag of the round. So even though the rotation did come in slow from Copenhagen Wolves, they did pick up the defuse in the round. 8-5 now in favour of the Danes, and that's already my prediction out the window. I said 16-7,
yeah,
and Wolves have already got 8, so...
It was really nice, nicely handled by Copenhagen Wolves right there. They decided to actually make their way to a more defensive posture. Instead of trying to just get the frags, they're like, all right, let's just go a bit further back, bit towards shore, bit towards the pickup truck. We'll play outside the smoke, and we'll wait for the rotation instead of trying to make those kills. So it did end up helping them, I feel like. And it looks like Titan are not done with this A just yet. We have the boost from Copenhagen Wolves up on those boxes above the toxic barrel outside of A main, and that's a really, really sneaky spot. I mean, if you can kind of use that once every match, and it's usually going to deliver.
Yeah, they can usually catch teams off guard, and whether Titan decide to push this yet or not will be dependent on how effective that position is. But he's the only guy over on that A that's boosted up. The other members of Copenhagen Wolves are kind of mid-highway area with 2 towards B, and it looks like Titan have rotated away from A towards B. This may catch the Wolves out by surprise.
All right, Maniac, just barely spotting one there with a nade out as well, and then they are going to go off of that, and it's like KQLY's going to make his way around, mow down cajunb, and we have the rotation coming in here from Copenhagen Wolves, but is it going to be quick enough? Pimp does go down on the bomb site, huge pickup there in the effort to get that bomb planted ASAP for Titan. It's a 3-on-4 though, and here come the Wolves, straight through the vents goes Glaive, does only pick up 1 kill. And here we have karrigan sneaking through the vents as well. Gets himself KQLY, looking for the second, won't get it, denied by Kenny S. And it's all on Nico here with the AWP. I don't feel like he wants to do this. In fact, he's going to turn tail and run, keep that AWP alive. And Titan should pick up another round to make it 8-6.
Yep, and Nico, they're not going to hunt him down. If they did, he may have been able to pick up an exit frag or 2, but not just yet. Copenhagen Wolves, they've been reasonably good on the retake, it has to be said, but not that time. The fact that karrigan had to come through vents as well was a little bit awkward for the Wolves. 8-6, as you said, is the score. Going into the last round of the half now, and Titan, their money's a little bit dodgy for them. M4s, AKs, and a few. We're going to see what Apex and Maniac pick up from the floor. Maniac, there we go, does get an AK out somehow. But on the other side, Glaive with a good old Mag 7 in his hands. So he's going to have to hold a tight angle with that, I feel.
We do have the 3-man mid coming up from Copenhagen Wolves once again. And here is a defensive boost from Titan up on that T-Red inside the main area there for them. And that's actually really good at dealing with that aggression. We'll see how eager Copenhagen Wolves feel to push in there. But we're going to see Existence taking a kill onto Pimp. And KQLY going to find himself a pick onto the A site as well. This is falling apart here for the Wolves, as we do have 3 members left alive for them. Glaive holding onto a mag rather. Got the range for it though, going to pick up a kill with it onto Kenny.
And Nico not finding that shot towards Squeaky. He's going to fall back towards Highway, only on 18 HP. KQLY tries flashing himself in. Does pick up the frag there onto Glaive. And now this B site is going to be Maniac, but the A site is the one that Titan are on, and they're going to plant on Maniac, just trying to act as maybe a decoy or catch someone on the rotation.
And Nico smoked off there on the short angle. Pretty annoying for him. Maybe he'll be just spamming a shot through there. He wouldn't be too far off if he does try to attempt that. Going to go in here with the AWP flashing his way. Just last round, going to make his attempt, and he's going to get shut down. That's an 8-7 scoreline for Copenhagen Wolves. Definitely a good amount of rounds, but Titan, that 7 scoreline, are going to feel so good going into the CT half.
Yep, definitely will. 7 rounds on cash, T side. It's a really good starting point for your second half. And if Titan, they just play a safe, clinical CT side, then they should, in theory, have this game in the bag. I mean, KQLY top fragging as he does with the AWP. Apex, not too far in time. In fact, they're on the same kills, just bomb plants and assists making up the difference there. So Titan doing quite well so far, but you've definitely got to mention Pimp in there. 17 for 9, just on the top there for the Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, definitely doing a great job. We saw him a lot of the time over towards the B bomb site as well, and working the vents position, just generally very dynamic, and you can definitely see how that turned out with how many frags he was able to pick up. We're going to go into the piss around here. So very, very, very crucial for Copenhagen Wolves to pick this up right here, because otherwise, Titan are going to be building that economy, getting a really safe, secure start to get to their optimal setup really quickly, and that's something that Copenhagen Wolves have to deny.
Yep, definitely so. And KQLY's playing safe on this B site all the way from lower. Almost like he's going to let Copenhagen Wolves take control of this site, which is exactly what they're doing. They're going to smoke him off. And it looks like Titan are playing this for the retake, and cajunb is going to pick up Apex there in vents. And now this is looking like a very good start for Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, so far so good, but here comes Existence. Can he deal with Pimp there in the corner, jumping with the USP? Not going to happen. And it looks like Titan slowly make their way in, but there's still a man advantage for the Copenhagen Wolves as they hold down the site. cajunb to take out KQLY, and there's not much left going for Copenhagen Wolves, rather Titan now, and it's all going to be closed out with just the loss of Pimp there. And that's a wonderful way to start things off, and definitely denying Titan a good start. So very, very good for them, and I'm sure all the Danes watching will be very happy.
Yep, great start of Copenhagen Wolves. They do continue their lead here, and they're going to get a nice few easy rounds on the board here, or at least they should. But if this game's anything to go by, then Pistol seem to do a lot of work in these eco rounds here. Interesting that Nico's gone for the P90 though. The rest of his team on rifles. He's going to want to get up close and personal with the French guys. Pimp trying to get a pick in mid. KQLY is playing sandbag, so he won't be spotted for a while. Going to wait for the push to come in. A few shots go towards him. There we go. cajunb gets the first frag with a headshot.
So the Wolves just trying to make their way up mid here. And cajunb trying to take those long range shots, making much use of the advantage of his rifle there. And karrigan solo just watching the back, so the team doesn't get backstabbed on their attempt to take mid. And so far so good for Copenhagen Wolves as they've pushed Titan out of this area, and Glaive will take down Apex as well. So just 2 left standing, and they've been very methodical, very systematic about their approach towards taking down Titan in this round, and they haven't given anything away just yet. They've got a couple players who are quite weak in Pimp and Cajun, but if they don't lose anybody, that's going to be fantastic. And Maniac in Existence, what do they even do at this point?
Well, there we go. cajunb He's only on a little bit of health, but he picks up the frag. Gonna get the bomb plant as well, so that's even more money for the Bank of Copenhagen Wolves. And now Maniac, he's probably the best idea here to save. He does have a P250. He also has a defuse kit and armor, so he's got quite a bit of money on his back, and it'll carry through to the next round.
I feel like he could do something really sneaky as well, like wait for them to run out and then try to get someone in the back as they are coming out. But they aren't actually going in territory they hadn't fully explored and knew 100% was safe. They're not going to risk this. They're going to keep all their weapons alive, which is really, really nice by Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, I feel that Maniac, he could have even maybe tried to go for the ninja there at the end. Copenhagen Wolves ran away, and Maniac did have the kit, but he'd rather save that than risk it. And Copenhagen Wolves, no one has to rebuy, so that's a lot of money in their bank. Whereas Titan going to have to eco just one more here, then we should see the first gun round of the second half and how Titan can perform on this CT side.
All right, so Copenhagen Wolves really, really building that money. Look, it's getting starting to get to a point where if they win this round clean as well, as they very much could do against the USPs, mostly, great nade, is actually going to put them in a great spot. And we're going to have Copenhagen Wolves slowly taking over mid. But be careful, there's a lot of traffic from Titan towards that area. Big old Pimp just putting in work right now with a quick double. Looking for some more, tossing out the molly, and they are going to fall back here. Looks like they can go for the B split, and into B they will go.
Yep, Nico does have the P90, but doesn't really need to fire anything, just going to smoke off and get the bomb down here. And Pimp, again, worth a mention. He did pick up those 2 frags, which opened up the rest of the map for the Danes. And now Titan, it looks like KQLY is going to save this AK that he's picked up. And Maniac might want to save this defuse kit and armor yet again, with Existence being the only one to go for this.
Just playing it for the exits, it seems, and just chilling right now on Titan. So Copenhagen Wolves, another very, very calm and methodical round from them.
Well, Maniac's going to go for it and get taken down, so he's going to have to rebuy armor for the gun round. Existence towards T-spawn might get picked off here by someone. Does tag someone down though, not be able to find the frag. And Nico does take him down. Existence was only on about 5 HP, so he knew his time was a little bit limited there. And the buy coming in, no AWP for Titan just yet, which could be crucial for this CT side, especially when Nico has it. So Titan, they may have to relinquish all mid control this round.
We'll have to see how Nico actually uses this. It looks like he's going to go for a timing here onto this A main area, which often does get pushed by the CTs for a quick little peek and maybe a smoke or two. But so far, it looks like a relatively defensive posture coming in from Titan. You do have only one guy in mid and 2 players on B at the moment, 1 in the vents room and 2 on the A side itself. So very, very, very slow and steady from both teams so far, playing it safe.
Yeah, it's better not to rush into anything, especially on these gun rounds where you've got money at risk. Karrigan, not too sure what he's trying to look at there, just breaking the window, maybe to cause a little bit of a distraction, thinking it's a grenade. The smoke's coming out now into mid, and the push is coming in towards this B site, out from Titan, seeing if they can clear their lines. And they do tag up Karrigan there, down to about half. And now they can get control. There we go, 2 frags coming in from KQLY in Existence. cajunb does return 1 of them. Pimp coming back round. And now smoking off lower, flashes go out too. And again, this B site is working really well for Copenhagen Wolves, but not when there's an angry KQLY trying to defend it, with Apex coming in too. And now Nico, 1 versus 2. KQLY is down. It's just Apex and Maniac left. He does pick up the bomb very sneakily. So that jump, he's made sound. Titan have heard this. He's going to get the bomb down at least. Now whether he can pick up frags, no he cannot. Maniac's going to just come round, walk around the corner, pick up the kill. But the bomb down, it's money in the bank. Not that they exactly need it, they are rolling in it. But 11 now for the Wolves to 8 of Titan. Is this where Titan comeback starts to happen?
Well, definitely with KQLY having that AWP in hand, it's going to feel much better for Titan at least. But we'll have to see whether they're able to actually capitalize effectively on this. But Copenhagen Wolves, they're going to be facing the most stacked defense they will have faced thus far on round 20. right now, so we'll have to see how they're able to cope with this. We saw a delayed mid-take into a B split last round, and that was a very, very nice option, working out very well for them. And I wonder if we'll see more mid shenanigans from them in the future. We've got a very defensive setup here from Titan. They don't really have an op to put in mid right now. KQLY is, as we can see, over at the back boxes on A, so they've got a kind of double setup on this angle in the corner behind Squeaky and the back boxes. So this is very committed from Titan. They're going to have to make the kills. KQLY is going to have to be clutch in this position. That's the only way this can work. And in, they are ready to go here, tossing those nades into the A bomb site. They know right now KQLY in the back of the site, looking for those shots, going to take down Glaive, and still he and his teammate right there in the corner are alive. Maniac chiming in with one. KQLY still looking for more frags here through the smoke. In Copenhagen Wolves go. KQLY going to whip a shot. Is that going to be the end of him? Going to pick up a quick little kill from KQLY in existence, leaving just cajunb left alive, but he gets two and forces it to the one-on-one. Now it's KQLY against cajunb. A very, very weak cajunb at that.
Yep, and KQLY, he's gone up to get the height advantage, gets the headshot there onto cajunb to end out the round. It's definitely what Titan needed now. Forces Copenhagen Wolves onto an eco, or at least a force buy here. Looks like they're going to have to eco. Deagle, CZ's coming in. So they do still have some firepower in their arsenal. Definitely not one to be taken too lightly. Certainly pick up some frags and do exactly what they did in the first half. And use these pistols to their full effect at close range, but the double AWP now, KQLY. Back when he played for LDLC, he was definitely a really, really big AWPer for them. And now working as the secondary one here for Titan, with KQLY being the main. It's KQLY towards B, KQLY elsewhere on the map. Nothing on this B side just yet, however.
We'll have to see exactly how these peaks come in from Copenhagen Wolves. We've got KQLY on short here, tasked with mid, but looks like Copenhagen Wolves going to make their effort towards that A bomb site, straight in onto KQLY's head there. Not even a chance to respond. We've got Existence and KQLY looking for the reaction. In comes Existence from the pickup truck, able to pick up a kill, but that bomb is going to go down regardless. There's nothing they can do about it, and it's the 2-on-2 setup right now for Copenhagen Wolves. They're able to actually get that bomb planted, but going to lose karrigan, forcing Cajun to have to deal with two players here. The bomb ticking away. He forces the one-on-one. Just on KQLY with that AWP. He's close. cajunb going to go down. KQLY with a wonderful shot there. cajunb just didn't have the information. And that is going to be another round for Titan as Copenhagen Wolves make this really, really hard for them.
Yeah, we're going to see yet another pause coming here as well. Existence has dropped again. But that was a round that Titan needed. Copenhagen Wolves, it came so close to the wire. They almost picked up that round. They got the bomb down, got 4 frags as well, forced it into a 1 versus 1. And KQLY did come out on top. So.
Yeah, so far we're seeing exactly the kind of play against Titan that you know, when they have those two AWPs, those big set plays into the bomb sites, that is the ideal situation, because you don't want to play the pick game against two AWPs. You don't want to play the pick game against KQLY and KQLY. I mean, that's just common sense, right? I mean, come on. So they're throwing all the nades and they're getting in there super fast, and we can see KQLY, you know, his ability to actually do anything is minimized when there's a smoke in front of him and flashes and fire everywhere. So as we jump back into the game, as things have gone live, we can actually see that right now we have a pretty bad spot for Titan when it comes to the money, when it comes to, you know, how late we're into the game. And look, KQLY and KQLY going to just get 2 big frags right at the start there to stop this approach onto this B bomb site. They're going to go for a fast play, but looks like they're getting held at the entrances to the site.
And again, KQLY and KQLY combining to pick up 2 frags there. So now they're on 2 each, and now Pimp, he's done so well so far, but KQLY gets the 3rd for himself. And now 11-11. Copenhagen Wolves do still have money to buy.
I like the idea, just a big fast play. I mean, they haven't done that yet, but at the same time, you know, now, as it didn't go their way, they weren't able to get the entries, they weren't able to deny KQLY and KQLY. Now we can see the money is very, very bad for Copenhagen Wolves and Titan. You know, if they lose this round, in fact, you know, the money's going to be terrible for them. So this is a very critical round here when it comes to the economy. As we see KQLY spamming through that smoke, looking for the shots, but cajunb ran all the way through, takes down KQLY, and now Copenhagen Wolves, they know that they can move further into mid if they want, and looks like they're doing just that, just getting a man towards that vent roof area. And Titan now have to take pretty defensive setups here. This is going to be very difficult for them.
Yep, speaking about defensive, karrigan just waiting it for Titan to go aggressive here. It's Existence who's gone, but it's going to be Existence to get the pick. But elsewhere, Nico does pick up a frag with the AWP. Existence coming in again with his second. Gets his third. They're just falling easily for him there out of vents. Maniac as well with a kill. And now it's just all down to Nico with this AWP. He doesn't have the bomb. And this AWP has such close range almost. It's not going to do too much. In fact, he may have to switch to a pistol at some point in the near future.
Nico just crouching in here. They have no idea how far up he is. He's been sneaky like a ninja. He's actually on the bomb site here, but he's going to get spotted by Apex. What a sick round from Existence there. Titan were in a pretty nasty spot, losing a guy early on. They were spread thin. Existence with a very fast triple to shut down a very quick B split. That was absolutely huge there from the Frenchman. So now Titan, thanks to their caller, their in-game leader, the trusty Existence, they're going to have a shot at really securing their economy and getting this setup going once again. KQLY and Kenny S with those AWPs.
Yeah, you've got to start to think now that this game has spiraled out of control now. Titan just running away with rounds left, right, and center. And Existence, as you said, doing just what he needs to do. Picking up those frags. And a great 1D coming in, however, from cajunb onto Maniac. Apex returning the frag onto Glaive. Kills coming in left, right, and center as well. karrigan with one. Apex returns it. karrigan with another. And now 3 versus 2. This eco round for Wolves is doing good work for them yet again. They've won a lot of ecos already, and now it looks like they're going to win yet one more hit. Just KQLY left with this AWP looking towards highway area. Smoked off from anywhere else.
Making his way in on these angles. Going to get caught in the back. And KQLY will not be able to do much more in that situation. And that's the problem with the double AWP setup. That's the only issue, is those big, fast set plays. That's one of the strongest ways to actually disrupt it, to exploit the fact that you got this guy who's kind of useless on the rotation. If you hide on the angles correctly, it's very difficult to do that retake with an AWP. But we're going to see Copenhagen Wolves, in a pretty good money situation again. Once Titan, if they lose this, they're forced to the eco. So a pretty huge deal once again. Both teams just on the razor's edge right now. They can't put a foot wrong. And we might be seeing a delayed mid-take here from Copenhagen Wolves. They haven't done that for a while, and that can lead up to either the A split or the B split here, something that they really enjoy. But we're seeing Titan go for an aggressive, proactive play to gather information. And they cleared out B storage. They can leave a guy there now and try to work out what's happening. Here the vents popped. This might be a bit of a tell as we see the Wolves making their way up mid. karrigan going to take down Existence there. He was pushed in B storage. This is looking very bad for Titan, losing another man as well. karrigan going to take down KQLY now, and it's just Kenny S and Maniac to between them and ecoing next round. This is a big deal. And Kenny S needs to go huge. He does get the first kill, but they're really on the wrong side of the map at the moment.
Yeah, the bomb is going to go down as well. This B side has been working really well for the Copenhagen Wolves. And now, you said that with Maniac on the rotation, he's going to have to save this. He's going to get hunted down, however, by Pimp, who will go back towards spawn. Picks up the frag. 13-12 now, and the money yet again for Titan. Last round, Apex, I believe, had to have a FAMAS with no armor. In this round, they're just going to have to eco. They were tight for money as it is, and this just made it worse. Now, of all the games today, this wasn't one we had down as a really close game, to be fair.
Oh yeah, certainly. From Titan's recent performances and from Copenhagen Wolves' not so recent performances, this didn't seem like on paper, it didn't seem like it should be too close. But if you look at the names we have for Copenhagen Wolves, all they needed was just the time together to win out, and you can see the result that it's having. These are really great players for the Danes, and they are putting in a marvelous result so far. But it's not over just yet. We do have Titan on this eco. Of course, they're going to be stretched for a buy on the next round. I'm not sure. Got to double check their money situation exactly after this, but at the moment we can just see that they're just waiting for a player from Copenhagen Wolves to put a foot wrong so they can get a quick kill and perhaps to pick up a rifle. That would be absolutely wonderful for them. But so far, as we've seen most anti-ecos go for Copenhagen Wolves, it's relatively seamless.
Yep, Existence now, just the guy left. He doesn't have anything except for his USP and 23 points of health. Maybe trying to pick up an exit frag somewhere, catch someone off guard, but I doubt he'll do much damage with that. Copenhagen Wolves now going to be 14-12, and they're only 2 rounds away from winning this against arguably the best team in France of Titan. Existence trying to get a pick there, going to fall back. Going to jump up, there we go. He gets taken down by Pimp. And just quickly, how Pimp is on 25-16. cajunb is in fact overtaken him 27. Those two certainly putting in their shift tonight. And they've got a few more games tonight as well where they're going to have to be performing. Hopefully the rest of their team can come in line and make it a bit of an easier performance all round.
And this could be the round now. I mean, if Titan lose this, they're down to an eco again. And you're looking at what will be the game. So they cannot lose this round. It's all on this round for Titan. They want to stay in this. And it looks like Maniac with a quick mid push is going to take out cajunb. KQLY gets one onto karrigan as well. And that's going to be a pretty nice advantage. But it's not over yet. We have Nico on the boost spot with that AWP. They're going to take out Maniac as they vie for that mid control. There comes the second kill from Nico as well, putting it to a 3-on-3. And all of a sudden, Copenhagen Wolves, just like that, are bringing themselves back in this round. And they've got lots of time to play with, which is the crucial factor now as Titan are stretched. Where do they go with their players? Where do they position their defense? It is very difficult to understand how to handle this. And we see Nico here looking for the shots. Grinding the angle. KQLY going to take him out. Big frag there from KQLY. That's going to really deter the Wolves from making any further steps up towards short to A here.
Take a quick look at the map as well. They're being flanked by a member of Titan. It's Existence who's coming behind them through main, and he's going to catch them going into vents. Pick up one frag. He knows exactly where Pimp is as well, and so do the rest of his team. And that was a round that Titan definitely needed there. Otherwise, they most likely would have given up the game. But Copenhagen Wolves, they're not going to be on an eco for a while just yet.
And returning from the jaws of defeat, Titan give themselves a chance to win this match off of that round with a very, very convincing, very confident defensive play, or series of defensive plays here on Cash. And now we have to see exactly how Copenhagen Wolves want to take this next round. It looks like they're going to bring the aggression in again with the boost spot from Nico. As at the same time, we're going to see a push straight out of A main. KQLY going to get a quick double. There's one from Maniac as well. And this is looking terrible right now for the Copenhagen Wolves. And Titan will pick up one more round and put themselves closer to at least 15 rounds. But right now, you know, Copenhagen Wolves, they're not in any kind of horrible situation on the money. They can definitely put in another buy.
Yep, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They don't want to give up a match point. If they end up losing this one 16-14, yeah. If they go 16-14, then that's going to hurt, of course. There is no overtime in SLTV because it is a league format. So 15 all can be a thing. There we go, KQLY. That's exactly what they need to get this match point. Definitely with the second coming in, Apex will get taken down and KQLY. So that was a 2-for-2 trade in total there. With Glaive picking Existence off their invent. He thinks there's someone else there. Going to smoke it off. Gets the headshot onto Maniac. And now it's looking a lot more like it's going to be Wolves with the match point here. Just KQLY left to try and retake.
But if you had to put the responsibility in any man's hands for this French side, it is the man, KQLY. And he's got the AWP as well. Here he goes in, looks for the first shot, gets the arm of Glaive there. There's one close to the left. Will he spot that shot just in time? He looks for it, but Pimp is going to have just unchallenged reactions. And that is 15 rounds for Copenhagen Wolves. And Titan, all they can do now is get the draw, but you never want the draw.
No, you always want the win.
You want the W.
Especially in a league format. Getting those points on the board. It's the opening game as well of the SLTV, so it's always good to win the first game out. But Copenhagen Wolves, they do have this up on Nico. karrigan going towards this B site, maybe trying to get a quick pick. Or just try and cause a little bit of a distraction with that flashbang there. KQLY and KQLY both still have AWP, so they could certainly combine to pick up some really good and crucial frags for the French.
We do see KQLY is able to get one right down to cajunb. And at the moment, it is a slow take of mid that we're seeing from Copenhagen Wolves. They're going to have the vents pop now, so they're going to feel like B is an option, at least a better option than A. In fact, Glaive going to take down Apex towards short, so that, you know, having a man in Squeaky, they can take the bomb either way at this point. This is going to be a really hard call to make as your mid-round caller, but it looks like they're going to make the way up short here. So we can see karrigan right here. Last man standing for Copenhagen Wolves. It's going to take down Kenny S. He's got 3 men left to deal with. KQLY with the AWP. Maniac with an M4 in existence with just the lowly Deagle. And here he goes for a quick switch back to B. Great choice here from karrigan. There goes the smoke.
Smoke's out lower, which means he can get in here, get the bomb down, but instead,
Good choice.
he's going to go aggressive here, under lower. Going to try and flank behind. Could he go for a double fake and even go to the A site here? No, he's going to get the frag onto KQLY because the AWP at that range isn't as good as an AK. And now the bomb's going to be planted at the back of this site. Molotov does come in. So he's already down to 29 HP with the grenade coming in as well. Titan come out there, get the 15-15. The first opening game of this SLTV Star Series does end in a draw.
Very well played by both teams. Definitely, you got to throw it to Copenhagen Wolves. Fantastic result. They had a lot of great strategies, a lot of great execution, and I love from karrigan in that last round. I mean, at that kind of position, you always have to like try to make it, you know, the 1-on-1 or the 1-on-2 if possible. So it's really, really smart that he used his time like that so efficiently. So I wanted to see it happen, but it didn't quite happen. But definitely so well played from Copenhagen Wolves. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah. I don't think anyone did. If you just looked at this on HLTV and you saw, oh, Titan versus Wolves, this is going to be an easy game for Titan. No one really expected the draw there to come in from the Danes. They did a really good performance. Pimp and cajunb combining to do some really good work for them. And they held Titan to a draw.
And if you are fans of Titan, you are going to be able to watch them as the next match will be against Titan, or rather will be Titan versus Over Gaming. So if you are a fan of Kenny S, of KQLY, superstars like that, you should stick around. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back very shortly with that match.